What would you do if the one thing you destroyed belonged to the person who held your future in their hands? Officer Daniel Harper's boots crunched on the gravel as he stood over the smoldering wreckage of the old pickup truck. The flames had died down, leaving a charred skeleton of metal under the Arizona sun. The call had come in an hour ago. An abandoned vehicle on the edge of town, no plates, no owner in sight. Probably some vagrant's junk, his partner, Mike, had said with a smirk. Daniel didn't argue. He'd lit the match himself, watching the fire catch, feeling a strange thrill as it consumed the rusting relic. It was just protocol for abandoned property, he told himself. Nothing personal, but something about the truck gnawed at him. The faded army decals on the bumper, the worn toolbox in the bidet felt like it belonged to someone, not something. He shook off the thought. He was 28, a rookie cop in a small desert town, eager to prove himself. Burning an old truck was just another day's work. He climbed into the patrol car, ignoring the unease creeping up his spine. Back at the station, the air buzzed with rumors. A new commander was arriving today, someone from out of state, a decorated veteran. Daniel barely listened, too busy replaying the fire in his mind. That was when the door swung open and a man walked in. Tall, broad-shouldered, with graying hair and skin like polished ebony. He carried himself with a quiet authority that silenced the room. His eyes scanned the officers, landing on Daniel for a moment that felt like an eternity. "Officer Harper?" the man asked, his voice low and steady. Daniel nodded, his throat tightening. "Yes, sir. I'm Commander Isaiah Coleman, your new superior." He extended a hand, his gaze unreadable. Daniel shook it, forcing a smile, but something about Coleman's presence made his stomach twist. Those eyes, they held a weight, a story untold. The day dragged on with briefings and introductions, but Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that Coleman was watching him. It wasn't until late afternoon, when he overheard a conversation in the break room, that the pieces began to fall into place. "Heard the commander's truck got torched this morning," an officer whispered. "Some old pickup he'd driven cross-country. Kept it like a damn heirloom." Daniel's heart stopped. The army decals. The toolbox. It couldn't be. He stumbled to his desk, pulling up the report he'd filed. The location, the description it matched. The truck he'd burned was Coleman's. Panic surged through him. He'd destroyed his commander's property on his first day. His career was over before it began. But then came the twisted janitor, an older woman named Lila who'd worked at the station for decades, pulled him aside. "That truck," she said, her voice soft but firm, "wasn't just a truck. It belonged to Isaiah's son. He died in Iraq. That's why he kept it." Daniel's knees buckled. The truck wasn't just a vehicle, it was a memorial. He saw it now, the grief in Coleman's eyes, masked by duty. He wanted to run, to confess, to beg forgiveness, but fear held him back. Instead, he watched Coleman from a distance, noticing the man's quiet kindness, the way he listened to every officer, no matter their rank. It only made the guilt heavier. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He drove to the lot where the truck's remains sat, the moonlight casting shadows over the wreckage. He didn't expect to see Coleman there, standing alone, staring at the charred frame. Daniel froze, but Coleman turned, his expression not angry but weary. "You burned it, didn't you?" Coleman said, his voice barely above a whisper. Daniel nodded, unable to lie. "I didn't know, sir. I'm so sorry." Coleman looked back at the truck, his silence deafening. Then he spoke. "My son, Marcus, loved that truck. Drove it everywhere before he enlisted. I kept it to feel him close." He paused, his eyes glistening. "But it's just a thing. You're young, Harper. You made a mistake. What matters is what you do now." Daniel expected rage, punishment, but instead, Coleman offered him a choice. Own the mistake or let it define him. In that moment, Daniel saw the man his commander was not just a leader, but a father, a soldier, a human. He vowed to earn Coleman's trust, to be better, not for his career, but for the man who'd lost so much yet chose forgiveness. Months later, Daniel stood at a station ceremony, watching Coleman pin a commendation on another officer. Their eyes met, and Coleman gave a small nod. It wasn't absolution, but it was a start. Daniel had learned that actions carry weight, that mercy can be stronger than justice, and that sometimes the things we burn can teach us how to rebuild. Yindi.